to begin today is going to be at app.bookcreator.com, and this is going to be recorded, so you can go back and watch this at a later date too. So great question. It's going to be at app.bookcreator.com. So I'm going to put the site in the chat, app.bookcreator.com. Stick that in the chat for you. There's that site right there. And at app.bookcreator.com, don't get too excited because the one site that pops up is going to be the student site. So you're going to need to switch to teacher. So when we go to app.bookcreator.com, there's a button that says switch to teacher under the student sign-in, which I'll show you in a second if you haven't found it yet. You're going to be wanting to sign in on the blue page with the owl on it. So I'm going to sign out of my account and I'll sign in with you as well. So you're going to notice it says student sign in. Right below it says switch to teacher. Just click on switch to teacher and it is the blue sign in page where it says teacher sign in. And you're going to be signing in with whatever's associated with your school site. You do need to use your school email address because that's what's going to get you that premium access today. So make sure that you sign in with that school email address. What you're going to be prompted to answer a few questions: what grade you teach, what school site you're at. If you are at multiple school sites, just select one of them. It does not matter which one you're at. So just click one of those, and then what grade level and so forth. So highly just select those. A few people are joining right now, so I'm going to stick the website in the chat again one more time. It's just app.bookcreator.com, and you can join us there and sign in as a teacher. Once you're signing in, it's also going to ask you to create your first library. Think of a library as a classroom. So with Book Creator, you're going to be creating content as a teacher, and then students are creating content as a student. You create content in the form as an ebook. So these ebooks are housed in libraries. These libraries can be in the form of a classroom or it can be in form as a folder. Your students join in these libraries. So think of it as that classroom they're joining in. You're going to invite them to a library at some point, which I'm going to show you today. So you can name this classroom your last name, your first name, my library, period 1, ELA, math notebook, science notebook, whatever you want to name it. That's where your students are going to be joining in, okay? So you can name that whatever you want today. You can also go back and rename it something. So don't feel that you have to come up with the perfect name right now. Name it whatever you like. And then you're going to hop into that library. So I'll meet you there in just a second. Once you're in the library, it's probably going to say, if this is your first time using Book Creator, there are no books in this library. And if it says there are no books in this library, that's fine. That just means you haven't created anything yet. So you're where you're supposed to be. If you have already created an account and you already have been using Book Creator, you're going to be in your account and you're going to be where your books have already been before. It's going to take you to your library that you've already used before. So if you, yes, it's a great question. If you already have an account, you just sign in like you normally do. Okay. And you can just go into any library like you normally do. Once you're in a library, it's going to look like this, and we're going to go to our teacher dashboard. That's where we're going to be starting today. To get to your main screen, which is your teacher dashboard, at the top left-hand side, there are 3 lines. You're going to click on these 3 lines. That's going to take you to your teacher dashboard. On your teacher dashboard right here, you're going to have, this is where all of your libraries live right here, okay? So those libraries are where these are those little classrooms or those little folders where all of the books are housed. You're going to have access to unlimited libraries. The free version only gives you 1, so you have unlimited access to these libraries. And you're going to have access to create up to 1,000 books with your students. The free version lets you create 40. So you're going to have 1,000 books to create and unlimited libraries. You have a much larger amount to create with your students, which is awesome. Up here, you have a few different tabs, which we're going to go over really quickly. There, to the right of the libraries tab, we have a Discover tab. If you click on the Discover tab real quick, this is where you're going to find a ton of different example books and resources that you can spend some time when you have, I hate to say it, but free time to explore different resources and example books that are for your grade level and your subject area. The top ones right here are going to be resources and example books that you can download into your libraries. Down here, we have examples by grade level that you can explore. In the middle, we have a bunch of different books that are written by our ambassadors and our graphic design team. They're filled with examples, ideas, lesson plans, things like that that you can use within your classrooms. And then down here, you can browse by different subject areas. So we have a ton of different subject areas that you can look at what students are creating from around the world. To the right of the Discover tab, we have our Learn tab. The Learn tab is going to be where you can find support articles. So if you have a question about anything, you're going to click on that Learn tab, and this is where you're going to find the step-by-step instructions. Some that are going to be really helpful for you right now since you're starting out. For instance, the Getting Started tab. That's going to show you anything about getting started and questions. You're going to find those answers there. Today, we're going to learn a little bit about collaboration. So your answers to collaboration will be there. And then once you're done creating a book, you can publish it online to get like a live link. You can download them and so forth. So the sharing books are going to be really helpful as well. So there's also, when you click on one of these, there's a search bar. So you can search those questions. That's really helpful too. You can print out these. You can email the articles and so forth to staff if they have any questions. And to the right of the Learn tab, we have our certification course. I recommend taking this course if you are brand new, or if you've already been using Book Creator. I highly recommend taking it too, because you're going to learn something that you probably haven't, that you didn't know before too. We always hear that from even our highest users too. So myself and the other Teacher Success Manager, John Smith, we created this course to take you through different modules about all of our different features. They are self-paced. It saves as you go. At the end, you're going to take a quiz, which you should pass, and then you'll get a certificate of completion as well as a digital badge. Some districts, you can turn those in for PDH hours. You can always ask about that. And then you can get that additional hour or 2 hours. Some districts even give them 2 hours or something like that. So you can always talk to them about that. But as well as you'll become a certified author too. These modules, the videos in them are great to use as additional resources for your students. So you can always go back and use that video and show your students for a specific feature that you're working on in the classroom too. And to the right of the certification course is our App Store. If you click on the Apps tab, this is kind of an advanced section, so we're not going to spend too much time on it. But these are 8 different features that you can add onto your feature list. You'll notice the bottom ones say premium. Well, now you have premium access, so you're going to have access to those bottom features as well. To add these on to your feature list, let me just disable one so I can show you how to do this. You're going to notice that there's little plus buttons at the top of each one. The ones that you want to add to the list, you're going to click on this little plus button and you're going to click on Enable App. When you click on Enable App, it's going to enable it for you as the teacher. If you want to provide this app for your students, you're going to then enable it by libraries. So by your specific classroom. If I want to enable it for, let's say, my reading and writing workshop group, I can just click on that one library and then click Done. This is going to be enabled for me, and then it's also going to be enabled for my one library or that one group that I have. Just so that you are aware, there are privacy policies for these. So when I click on to enable something, you're going to see that there's a privacy policy for each one. Just to be aware of, some do have age restrictions. So for instance, for Giphy, if I click on the see details, no one to be aware of, no one under 13 should be using Giphy. This does not mean that you as a teacher cannot have GIFs in a book that a 13-year-old is going to be reading or a template that a 13-year-old is going to be using. It just means that they cannot have Giphy activated on their feature list. So they can still look at a GIF. They can still have a template that has GIFs in it. They just cannot have that on their feature list. So just note, look at these privacy policies before you're actually activating them for your students. Okay. So then what my suggestion would be for today is just activate them all for yourself. And you can do that really quickly so you can play around with them, get to know the apps so that you know what you're doing with your students, and then you can know whether or not you're going to have your students use them too. Bitmoji is only available for teachers, so your students won't be using them at all. Canva does not have a privacy policy, so you're good to go there. Google Drive and Google Map are normally just a district policy. Feedback stickers and animated emojis do not have an age restriction at all, or privacy, or they have a privacy policy, but they don't have an age restriction. 3D models does have an age restriction, and it's 16 and up. So just know that. So the real age restrictions are going to be the 3D models and the Giphy one. Okay. All right. What we're going to do now is we're going to hop on back over to the libraries tab, and we are going to look at how we actually get our students into Book Creator. Okay. So what I would like you to do is I would like you to click into a library that you have actually created. You're not going to click into the library that says My Books with the lock on it, because the My Books with a lock on it is actually a private library that is just for you. And that library does not have an invite code, so students cannot be invited into that library. So you're going to click into a library that you have created before. Okay. And I'm going to click into a library that I've created. Cool. What happens when students go to Book Creators, they also go to the same website, app.bookcreator.com. When they go to that website, if it's their first time ever signing in, they're going to sign in with their single sign-on, but what will happen is a little box is going to pop up and it's going to say, what is your teacher's invite code? What's going to happen is you're going to give them an invite code for your library. That is found at the top of the library that you've created. Each library has a different code. So if you create 5 different libraries for 5 different class periods, you're going to need to give a different code for each class period. So just note that. It says show invite code for others to join. I'm just going to click on that invite code, and you're going to give that code that pops up to your students. They'll type that in, and then they'll hop into your library. Once they're in your library, they will populate their names right up here where it says everyone's books. If I click on this little arrow, their names will populate under authors right here. And then you will be able to manage your student names. You'll be able to remove them if you need to. You will also be able to promote someone as a co-teacher. So if you wanted to add, let's say, a teacher to your library, they could join your library and you can promote as many co-teachers if you wanted to that library as well. Once they're a co-teacher, they will have complete access over the library. They can add accessibility features into the books. They can read the books. They have an invite code. They have complete access over the library, just like you do as well. One other way for students to join a library, if they already have a Book Creator account, so let's say that they've already used Book Creator before, the invite code, when they go to log in, they're not going to get a box that pops up that has an invite code. When they go to log in, it's going to take them into their Book Creator account. What they're going to need to do is they're going to need to go to their student dashboard, just like you. They'll click on these 3 lines and it will take them to their student dashboard. What they need to do is they need to scroll all the way down to the bottom of their screen. And there is a button that says join a library. Okay, they're going to click on join a library and that box will then pop up there and it will say enter the code from your teacher. So either they've never used Book Creator before and they will pop up and then they type it in, or they go to their student dashboard, click join a library, and then it pops up. Okay. All right. Click back in. Once they are part of your library, they now can create books. they can create books by clicking on this new book button right here. They'll click on this new book button, and now they can create a book in your library. They get really excited sometimes, so they'll just keep clicking on that new book button. So you might want to tell them at first, like, just click on one book to play with and make sure you want to delete it, and then click another one if you need be, and just you don't want to like make a ton of blank books in your library. So just tell them about that. Once you're in your library, there's different books that you can create. There's under the blank books, we have these blank books with basic features. Below, we have blank books with comic features and with as well as the basic features. My suggestion is always just selecting one on the bottom row since it has every feature you can imagine. If some students pick this one and some students pick this one, the students that pick the one on top are going to ask why don't they have the features on the students that have those books on the bottom. So just say pick one from the bottom row. And then to the right, we have different templates. These really help jumpstart creativity. So they're already ready to go for students, and then they just edit those. And they can also create different pages from the templates, which are really neat. And so we have lots of different ones here. I really like the newspaper for current events, the textbook and magazine for non-fiction text features. Down here, we have the antique one and the mono one have like a timeline in them ready to go. And then the other themes I really like for just presentation books. It gives the students another option to present with too. So really check out those templates too. And then there's also a button up here, which is quite new. It says import book or PDF. If I click on that button, it says I can drag a PDF or Book Creator EPUB to import or browse files. What I can do here is I can download a PDF, drag and drop it in here, and I can actually edit those PDFs. So just think about this as like a PDF editor, which is awesome. Students can annotate on those PDFs. They can use our fill bucket. They can draw on top of them, color them in. Lots of different things you can do with the PDF editor. And then if you have old Book Creator EPUB files that you've downloaded, you can also import them in and then continue editing those as well. You can also import from Google Drive here too. If you have, let's say, your PDFs on there or your Book Creator EPUB files on Google Drive too, you can import them from there. So those are really cool to see too. If we have some time at the end, I can show you that PDF editor. Let's click on one of these blank books. If you're following along, feel free to click on one of them as well so that you can play with the features. What I love about Book Creator are the features are simple. We have really powerful features, but it's simple. That's why students from pre-K all the way up to 12th grade can use it. You're going to notice here that we have 3 buttons on top. We have a pages view over here, and then we have a button on the bottom. Once you know these buttons, you're good to go. Okay, so we're going to explore these. The first button right here is a plus button. It's probably self-explanatory. You click on the plus button to add something to your page. Easy as that. The second button is an inspector button. This inspector button is just think of it as changing something. This is used to change fonts, change backgrounds, crop things, anything you need to change, you use that inspector button. The third button is to play, which means you want to read your book. Okay? And then the one down here is a little comment bubble. This is where you can leave feedback and commenting, which we'll check out at the end. And then the pages view is quite simple. It just means you can look at it from a pages view and maneuver the pages around. You can also like insert another page, copy pages, and so forth. Okay. Let's go back. Cool. So first thing I want to do with this is I want to, maybe today I'm going to make, let's see, maybe I want to do a science notebook, okay? And I'm making a cover for today. First thing I want to do is I want to do the background of it, okay? So I'm going to click the inspector button. There are different comic backgrounds I could pick from. There's anything recent that I've used. I have different colors. I can even click the plus button. I have all these different colors. There's even a hex code for you fancy people. If you have like a hex code color that you love, you can type that in. There's different paper. We even have music paper, graph paper, dot paper, different borders. I'm going to click this kind of stem looking border. Different patterns and different textures. I love the watercolor paper too. So lots of different options. I like to say lots, but actually we don't have lots, but we have enough. Let's just say that. So the students aren't spending an hour picking their background, okay? You're gonna love that. All right, so here's my border that I picked. Now I'm going to add an image, okay? So I'm gonna go down to media. You're gonna notice that there's icons. So you can select different icons. You can learn the icons, and then they're going to be able to learn what are these different features. So the first icon we have here is this little picture, which means I can add an image. Okay, so here are images. This is our Pixabay image search. It is a safe image search. They're copyright free, available for reuse, as well as they can edit the images too. So I'm gonna search for an image. I'm gonna search just science since I'm doing a science notebook. You'll notice that there's a little microphone here. The microphone here is going to be for speech to text. And I can also upload an image from my computer if I prefer to do that. Okay? So we'll click science. I'm gonna do this. I'm just gonna find an image of science I like. I'm gonna do maybe this one. Kind of like the clip art. Cool. So I'm gonna add this to my notebook. My notebookie. Okay, cool. Next thing I want to do is I want to add my picture to the front. So I'm going to add camera. So I can add camera. I can take a picture or I can record a video, but I'm going to take a picture. Not the best picture, but that's okay. I have a really dark room right now. Here's my picture. And if I want to change anything, remember I can change, I can edit. I can click on this inspector and I can crop. So if I want to crop this image, I could crop it. Press crop. Crop it maybe even more. Make it smaller. Turn it a little bit. This is my little science notebook. Okay. Now I want to do, maybe I want to add text. So I'm going to scroll down to text. And I have all these different texts I can select from. I'm going to do the boom text. And I'm going to say Catherine's science notebook. Well, now I can maneuver the text. If I want to change anything, I click on that inspector. I can center it if I want to, make it bigger, put it down here, actually I like it up there more. I can change the font. I can change the color. I might match it with this one over here. There's that. I can maybe do it. There's already a shadow. Maybe I can do a background if I wanted to. Let me do a little smaller. Actually, I like it like this. Just up a little bit. Okay. And then I can add, I think that's, oh, I'm going to add my voice. So I'm going to add my voice. I'm going to click record. Okay, so I'm going to record my voice, start recording. Catherine's Science Notebook. Stop recording. I can play it if I want to. If I don't like it, I can delete it and I can replay it and then do it again or re-record it and then click use recording. This right here. And there's my science notebook cover. Okay. Obviously, I probably would spend a lot more time on this, but you can just kind of get the gist of what I could do with my science notebook cover, okay? Then I'm gonna go to my next page. I can do the background again. So I'm gonna just click on that STEM background again. This time, maybe I wanna do, maybe we're doing a science experiment and I want to record a video. I'm gonna go to the camera again and click record video. And pretend I am now recording a science experiment. What's great about the video is there's no time limit. So the students can record how much they need, and then they can stop the recording, and then it will paste into the book. They can replay it to see if they like it, and then use video. There it is. They can also go to the inspector sign, and they can even add captions. Whatever language you are speaking in, you can change it to whatever language, and you can generate those captions automatically or enter in captions manually. So I'm going to generate those captions, and that will generate. So there's my little science notebook, and now I could write my text around my experiment, reflect on it, and so forth, and just put that all there. And then that's that. So that there's my next page in my science experiment, my journal. Okay. All right, next page. I'm going to still do that next page in my journal. I have let's use the pen tool. Let's say I import maybe I took a picture of a diagram I drew in the classroom. So maybe we drew a diagram in the classroom. I took a picture of it, and that's going to be on here. And now I want to take the pen tool and I want to label this, okay? So I'm going to take the label, I'm going to change the color, and I'm going to use our magic ink to label this, okay? So I'm going to use the magic ink, and I'm going to change maybe till maybe a little smaller line. I can use a paintbrush, a crayon, a highlighter. I'll show you auto draw in a second, but I'm going to use the pen. I'm going to click off. And then I can just label. Maybe I need to draw something. Maybe it's a diagram I'm labeling and so forth. And I can label whatever is on my picture. You kind of get the gist of it. Okay, with my pen tool. Okay, with the pen tool as well. Maybe I want to use different color, and maybe I have an annotation. I can use my highlighter and I can annotate over text, and students are going to love annotating using fun magic ink. Okay, then we have something with a pen tool called auto draw, and if you've never used auto draw before, you're going to love it. Let's say a student says I can't draw. You're going to say you need to use auto draw. Okay, you're going to love it. I'm going to draw a sun. So I'm going to picture of a sun. I'm just going to start drawing a sun. And over here, it's going to start guessing. So right now it's guessing an apple. Nope, not an apple. Not a cherry. There it is. It's guessing a sun. So I'm going to pick which sun I want. So sun. Draw my sun. I can use the fill bucket. Fill in my sun. And so forth. And now I have my cool sun. We also have emojis too that you can search through. So maybe I want to search for science in there. Add to my science notebook cover. And so forth. So you can edit. Cool. Those are some things for the pen tool. Great way to be creative. All right, let's do another one. We have, next one, we have shapes. So under shapes, we have all of these different shapes that the students can use. These arrows are great as well for you doing a diagram. You can move them around and so forth. And then up on the top of shapes, though, which is my favorite, is search for anything. These are great. I like to use this for vocabulary. Students also like to use this just for things to add to their books. And there's also a microphone that you can use for you can use for speech to text. So let's say our vocabulary word is innovate. Type it in. I have all of these different icons that I could use for innovate. Maybe I want to use this one. This could be my vocab notebook I'm doing. I can add this to my vocab notebook, change my color, and now I have something for innovate, and I can write about what does innovate mean. Here's my icon. Why did I select this icon? Blah, 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 blah. You can also use this though if you're writing, maybe you want a picture for your book and you're writing about something about dragons. Have a cool dragon in your book. And you can do a really cool dragon, maybe a purple dragon. So there's different things that you can, I don't know why it keeps popping up, but there's different things that you can use this for too. So search for anything. It is filtered, don't worry. But neat things that you can add. And that's the noun project integration. Okay. Next we have are all of the comic features down here. So you can click on one of these comic features. We have these different panels. Panels don't have to just be for comics. You can use these for vocabulary. You can use these for story elements, different things you can use these for, about me pages, so many different options. You can do it for just an activity that you want them to fill in to do an assignment and make a comic about it. When you click into these plus buttons, you can pull images, pull a camera, files, or Google Drive as well. And then we have all the different comic features they can play with. And stickers too. Kind of get the gist. And then on the last section, we have more. This is where you have all of your apps. We're not going to get into the apps today just because we could do an entire session on just apps. But this is where you can pull up Giphy, 3D models, Bitmoji, Canva, Google Drive, Google Maps, feedback stickers, animated emojis, and so forth. So I'll just pull up an animated emoji so you can see what these look like. If you want to add the apps in, they can be so creative and have so much fun. Imagine having animated emojis in your comics. So they love it. And you can put those in your books as well. So you can be so creative with it. You can also pull files from your computer here, or you can embed videos. You can do any app smashing here, whatever you use that has an embed code or a URL link, you can embed right here and put that into a book. You can even use other book creator books and embed them right here too, so they can read them. All right. Last button I want to go over is this commenting button right here. When you click on this commenting button, this is where you can leave feedback. So let's say I want to go to my cover page. Maybe we were working on our covers today, and I want to leave a feedback on the cover. So I'm going to click on add comments, and there's different ways that you can leave feedback for students. The first way I can leave feedback is just through text. I can say, great work on your cover. Students can reply by using a little emoji. Okay. Or you could leave a video for feedback. Start recording. Great work on your cover. I'm so excited to start reading your reflections. Video feedback. I won't go into every single one, but you can leave an audio clip. You can leave an emoji. You can leave a GIF. You can leave a feedback sticker, or you can leave an animated emoji. So all of these different ways that you can leave feedback for students. What happens when you leave feedback is they get a notification. They get a notification inside their library. At the top right, there's a little bell. They get a little notification at the bell, and it will go under unread. What will happen is they'll see that notification. They can click on that notification, and it will take them right to that page and right to that comic that comment will pop right up and they can see those unread comments. They can then respond to you. Then you will get a notification and you can go back and forth and so forth. If you feel that you want to leave feedback, but you don't want them to start responding to your feedback, you can also turn it off for them, so you can disable it. At the top right here, there's a little settings icon. You can click on this little settings icon and it says allow students to comment. You can just turn that off and click disable. What happens there, it says student commenting is disabled. You can leave feedback, like I said before, but they can't leave feedback back. They still get notifications and they can start viewing it and so forth, but they won't be able to actually leave feedback back to you. So that's a great way to teach digital citizenship first, maybe give them some sentence stems, practice it first, and then slowly release them. It's a great way just to do that, especially if you're teaching younger grades and so forth. And then you can always go back in and then go back and enable it for them, and then they'll be able to comment. It's also a great way if someone loses the privilege, you can turn it off individually in their book. Okay. If they also delete, maybe I delete my comment, you can always forever see deleted comments. They can't delete yours. They can delete theirs if they make a mistake, but it will forever show up under deleted comments. So let me go over with them. Okay. 2 more things, and then we'll take questions. In your library, there are 2 different settings for a book that you can turn on. Well, one you can turn on, and then one you can is for publishing. If you want students to work in the book at the same exact time, it's called collaboration. At the bottom of the book, you can click on this little sharing options, and you can turn on collaborate. When you turn on collaborate, you can have everyone in the library work at a book on the same time, and they are collaborating in real time. So you'll see their names, you'll see them working in real time and so forth. It's a really, really neat way to see them collaborating. They can even have their own page and everyone's working in the book at the same time. And then they can go and look at each other's and leave comments and so forth when they're done. It's a great way to collaborate in the classroom. Or if once everyone is in the library, there'll be a button that says change. You can click on change and you can actually select the specific people that you want to work in that book. So maybe you only want a small group of 4, or maybe you just want peer editing, just 2 people. You can actually select those people and then they can comment in those books and only work in those books too. When you click start collaboration, what will happen is this little button will click up here that has those little 2 heads in a little circle. And that means that collaboration is on for that book. Students will have a pencil and they'll be able to click into that book to collaborate. So that will know that they know that I can collaborate in this book. And then lastly, once a student is done with a book, they can publish, or if you have turned publishing on for them, or you can publish the book for them. Publishing is private. So when you publish a book online, this is just how they share the book. It is a private link. If I click on the sharing options and click publish online, when I click publish, I'm going to give my book a title. And it says who can find this book. Since I'm a teacher, I have the option to publish it privately or publicly. I'm going to just select this privately because this is like a student's piece of work. Publicly would mean if I had created a template and I wanted to share it on the World Wide Web through Google or so forth and have other teachers use it too, I could do so. And then allow remixing means someone could download it. So if I did create a template and I wanted someone to download it, I could turn this on. I'm just going to turn this on so you can see what that remixing looks like. I can click publish online. When you publish it online, you can copy the link. So it's copied to your clipboard. And then you click read online. And click read online. Now I can read online. You can see you can remix this book, and it also shows you how many times the book's been read, which is really powerful for students. You get excited to see that. See my book. You can also click on the multimedia. I'll click it on for you. Catherine's Science Notebook. Well, You can also click read to me and it will activate the multimedia and read the book to you. So let me click off I'm going to click off play multimedia. I'm going to turn that off. And I'm just going to have read to me.
Catherine's Science Notebook.
So forth. You can also have it turned on multimedia and then it would play both of those.
Catherine's Science Notebook.
Catherine's Science Notebook. So forth. So you can see how that read to me works. Then remixing. I have a private link, so I could email this to like a co-teacher or something, and then they could download this. If this was a science notebook template that I wanted like my grade level team to use, they could click remix, and then they could download this into one of their libraries. It says add an editable copy to your book creator library. They could select it, and then they could download it into one of their libraries. If they wanted to, they could put it in my books and click copy to library. When they click copy to library, they get their own copy, and now they can edit that copy. It does not change my original. They get a new copy, and now they can make it their own. And that's if you allow remixing. Okay. All right. What I'd love to do is I'd love to take the remaining time. I'm sure some of you have some questions. So I'd love to take some questions. If it can be anything book creator related, if you want me to show you something, or if there's something you want me to review one more time, feel free to ask me those questions. Or if there's anything you didn't really catch, I'm more than happy to go over, or if there's something I didn't actually go over and you wanted to see, I'm happy to do that as well. And feel free to just, I think you have the ability, if you can unmute yourself, it's probably easier to do that than put it in the chat.
They can. Everybody has the rights to present and talk.
Perfect.
It's been fun. I've been creating a book while you showed us the different skills.
Good.
It is fun. Doesn't look like we have too many questions.
Hey everyone, can you type your email addresses on the chat? That way I can just copy and paste it and activate your accounts right now.
Perfect. So yeah, just put your email addresses in the chat and then we can get everyone upgraded.
Perfect. Thank you, Catherine, so much for the overview.
Yeah, and while you're doing that, I can show you the PDF thing if you want me to do that real quick.
Sure.
Okay, cool. It's one of my favorites. So while we have time, I might as well show you. And I feel so bad. I just looked at the name list. My colleague Jen is on here. Jen, I'm so sorry I did not introduce you.
Oh, it's okay. I snuck on a little bit late, but thank you.
I feel so bad. I just saw her name. She's on here.
I was hiding. I'm just hiding. It's okay.
The silent partner.
I am.
Thanks for joining. So for the PDF, let me just add a PDF real quick. If I can add.
Now, another feature I really want to highlight for you, I know we're getting close to the end of our time together, but this is something that I want to highlight for my dual language teachers. You are able to go in your classroom. We saw overview, usage. We've got grade book. And grade book, when you click on it, is going to give you this drop down menu. If you're a pre-K teacher and you're using Clever Kids University Pre-Reader, you're going to click on this one. If you're currently using Footsteps to Brilliance School Edition or I Can Read, you can choose either one of the
I don't know
three
if someone's not on
when
mute, if you don't mind muting yourself.
You're going to see.
I'm trying to see who it is.
Oh, perfect. There we go.
Yeah, they got it.
No, don't worry about it. Okay, cool. So in the new book, I know I showed you earlier, you could import book or PDF. I'm just going to show you the PDF real quick. So when you click on the import book or PDF, I just have a random PDF that I just found. So this is just like a random reading log. And if you click the little download button, it's just going to download to your computer. So I'll download this real quick and just click save, and it will just download down here. I'm going to go back to Book Creator, and all I'm going to do is just drag and drop this here. So I could drag and drop it. I could also just import it through my computer or Google Drive too. And then I'm just going to pick which one I want, either portrait, square, or landscape. I'm going to click portrait because I kind of like the shape of it. So I'll click that. And then it's just going to import. Now, if this reading log was like 10 pages long, it would import it as 10 pages as well. So this just happens to be 1 page. Okay. So I'm going to do this. Then what's going to happen is this is going to import as an image. So if I click on this, you're going to notice there's a little edit button right here. You can click on this little edit button. Once that pops up, you're going to see the pen tool pops up. Okay. I can change this color, so I'm just going to change it to the magic ink. And now I can start editing on top of this. If you use this little fill bucket, this is one of my faves, you can actually fill in whatever you want on the PDF, and it fills it in for you. So if I want to like fill in this little book, each time I read a book, I can use the little fill bucket and it fills it in. I can also use the eraser. Maybe I don't want this down here. I don't want this quote and I don't want this extra book. I want to put something else down there. I can actually erase all that. And now I can edit and put something over there. Maybe I want to erase month of, I can erase that and put something else there. Maybe I want the student name instead. And then I can click done. And now I can click off of it and add my own text over it if I wanted to. So I just want to show you that. That's a really, really cool feature too. So it can be a PDF editor as well. Any questions as I've shown you that?
That is cool. I like that feature.
Mm-hmm.
Can I only show your seat photo?
What'd you say?
That was Siri. I hit my watch and he was
Oh, you're right.
listening to what we're saying. He did not have an answer. Well, I don't see any questions. I know Valentine is working on adding all those upgrades. So thank you very much for presenting today. I love it.
You're so welcome. And my email is just Catherine with a C at bookcreator.com. I won't put it in the chat to like confuse things, but
No, it's all right. I'm already done. You can put it on the chat.
Okay, perfect. I'll put it in there. Feel free to email me. I am your specific teacher success manager. So feel free to email me if you have any questions throughout this time using Book Creator, and I'm happy to help you with anything too. If something does pop up, I can help you, or I can at least reach out to the support team and see what's going on too. And then help you with that. But I hope you have so much fun working with your students. I know they will be engaged and they will love it as well. And I always say, if you are overwhelmed right now, just have fun with them, have them play the first day. Don't start any big project the first day. Just have them explore and play. And I promise you they'll catch on and they'll teach you something that you didn't even know as well. So you don't have to know everything for your students to start with Book Creator too. But thanks for joining.
Thank you so much, Catherine.
Yeah, thank you again.
Yeah.
Thank you. Have a wonderful week, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
I'll go ahead and stop the recording.